So let's take a look now. I do have my own notes. I'm going to share my own notes with you. Usually the important ones, I will actually box it up and you can actually copy it down after the lesson. Okay, not during the lesson. I'm not going to waste, because the lesson is recorded, so I'm not going to waste the time waiting for you to copy. You can play back after the lesson. Okay, can you see my notes?
Oh, this one?
Yes, can you see?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna go on our plants and animals. Now introduce, of course, I'm sure your teacher has already gone through. So we know that there are a few categories of living things. All right, one group of them is plants. One of them is plants. So basically, how to differentiate living things, we're very simple. We only need that essential things to actually survive: air, food, and water. Now, a quick question. I wonder if you know, which one do you think, air, food, water, is the most important order, the number one order that you can't live without for 5 minutes or 10 minutes?
Water. I mean air.
Make up your mind, which one?
Air.
Air. Okay. Unless you're trained to hold your breath for, I think the World Guinness record record at 7 minutes, I think. You hold your breath for 7 minutes when I think it's a diver. She broke a record at diving without oxygen tank for 7 minutes, and she held her breath. But of course, she has to come back up. So within that 7 minutes, 3 minutes down, 3+ minutes up. So she, I mean, so far, I don't know if someone else can actually break the record, but air is the number one you can't live without. And of course, next one comes. What's the second one?
Water.
Very good. Now, water, anything more than 3 days, I would say, or 4 days without water, your system is going to break down. Your whole digestive system, respiratory system is going to break down. Your nervous system is also going to break down, because no matter what in your body, if there is liquid, and blood is also liquid, it needs water to circulate around. So if no water is circulating around, your whole system is going to break down, and you might just die of thirst and dehydration, which is worse. Okay, that's the last stage, and you will just collapse. Of course, the last one, food. Do you have any idea? Make a guess. How long do you think you can last without food before dying?
30 days.
No, that's no.
7.
Yes. Okay. Max, I would say 5 days to 7. There are some people that last 10 days. If let's say they are big size, they are they got more food to burn. So yeah, they basically I would say 7 to 10 days max. Okay, without food, you're gonna die. Animals is gonna die. And of course, this comes all in order, right? They go hand in hand. So if you don't have all this, your body starts to break down. You go into dehydration mode. You go into just basically doze off, and yeah, you just die off. Okay, you lose tremendous weight. You can actually lose tremendous weight in 3 days. Okay, without food, and say 5 days without water and without food. All right, now plants, same thing. The only difference is that plants can make their own food. So I'm gonna box up certain things. You might need to write that down. I don't think you can copy in time, but copy in time, you can copy after the lesson. Okay, play back the video. So basically, plants, living things, are the ones that need air and water to differentiate them to survive. And the only difference is that plants make their own food. These are the key points. Okay, and of course, different kinds of plants that comes in different shapes, sizes, and colors. They are very, very colorful. Okay, so the benefits of plants is that they actually provide us with food, shelter, medicine, and materials. They, in this way, they are useful to us in this manner. Now, medicine, of course, I don't know if you know, I'm not sure whether your parents, your parents actually, does your parents practice drinking herbal tonic soup, making Chinese traditional herbal soup? No. Do you? Not sure. And I think after 12 years old, then you can, because they are really, really strong. So my first taste of bitter herbal soup comes, my mom gave it to me at 12 years old. And that is actually made from, they are brewing from herbs. Basically, herbs are from plants. So these plants, not all herbs can be brewed into soup because some of them are poisonous. So I think this has been passed down for thousands and thousands of years in China. So I guess during our generation that passed down, somehow everything is already there. We kind of already know there's a long history of what kind of herbs are good for what elements and stuff like that. Okay. Now, even though they are good plants, they are useful things from plants, but they are also harmful things, harmful that might actually hurt us. Plants, like I said, they can be also poisonous. So examples of poisonous stuff will be, poisonous plants will be dunking. You can find around Singapore, I think, but a lot of people know that it's a very common plant. It's just a plain plant, but nobody will really touch it because I think either people know or they just find it very boring and don't bother about it. Okay, dunking leaves, there's only leaves. It's like a little shade of two different color green. One is lighter green, one is darker green. So you see the stripe there. If you actually go notice it, they are, you can't eat, you can't, I don't know about touching. I think touching is fine, but if you eat it, the dunking actually cause itchiness on your tongue, the leaves itself. Okay, so I don't know, is the name comes from because after eating it, the effects is that you can't, your mouth becomes numb and you become dumb. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know if that comes from the name. That's why they call it dumpkin. I'm not sure. Maybe.
Why is it called dumpling?
I don't know. Can Google it. I don't know why it calls it dumpkin. Okay, and also of course, harmful plants are weeds. All right, farmers hate weeds because they always compete with all the crops. So that's one thing why weeds are a pest to farmers. Okay, where are plants grown? So basically, we know that plants grow everywhere. You can see them everywhere. Forests, fields, gardens, ponds, rivers. There are even in the water plants as well. Okay, so ponds you have are right underwater. Sometimes you have even submerged and even some floating plants. Okay, now not only that, if you go to HDB or old houses where you see overgrown plants, they usually grow all the way under the in the drains, over the roof, on the wall. Sometimes some of them even stick onto the wall. You find that the roots stick onto the wall to get as high as possible so that they can get sunlight. So those are overgrown plants. Okay, they can grow anywhere. All right, so again, you can differentiate plants in different categories, whether they are water plants or land plants. Okay, two different categories. Actually many, all right, water plants, land plants, or you can classify them under poisonous, non-poisonous, or you can classify under flowering and non-flowering. See, flowering, non-flowering, that means those that produce flower, those that doesn't. Or you can say poisonous, not poisonous, those that are poisonous, those that are not poisonous. So there are many ways to differentiate, put them into different categories. Okay, so water plants, you have that plants that grows in lake, ponds, and rivers. Very straightforward. Oops, let's just clear off. Okay. So we have plants. Well, now as you go along, you will start learning the life cycle of plant. You learn how they grow from seed and how they start to bloom, develop flowers, and then grow into adult plants. Try not to chat because I won't be checking the messages. Okay. All right. If you need to speak, just speak directly through the mic. I can hear you. Okay. Now, non-flowering plants are plants that doesn't produce flowers. So one good example would be your ferns and mosses. They are all green. Mosses will be darker green, but nest fern, they are usually dull, very dull, dark and light green, maybe two-tone, sometimes a bit to the brownish side even, yeah, or maybe reddish side. So there are different kind of ferns. I've seen red ferns, red color ferns, but they do have chlorophyll under them, which help them to trap sunlight and make food. So there are many different types of ferns as well. Okay, now let's look at the main parts of the plant. This you have to, if you can draw, if not, if also good thing is your notebook, right? Once you get your notebook, okay, and you decide on what, you can decorate it. You can actually copy and paste. If you got a printer, screenshot this particular model of the plant, all right, and then print it out, cut it out, paste it on the notebook. So it makes it more interesting to revise. Okay, so it's not just so boring that, oh, you're just writing. Okay, treat your notebook like a scrapbook. Anything important you feel that you just want to look at it every day, cut it, paste it in your notebook. That will actually enhance and make your revising more interesting. Okay, so you have 5 main parts of your plant: your leaf, fruit, roots, flower, and stem. Later at the end of the lesson, I'm going to ask you, yeah? See whether you remember or not, those questions. Okay, all those the important parts I'm going to ask you, so you better be able to answer me. Your functions, roots, very simple. They were basically are the ones that take in water, okay, and also they hold the plant or tree firmly to the ground. So one examples of roots that are found underground, mangrove trees. Now, I don't know if you have been to the park. It's a national park. It's off island in Singapore. Every time I forget the Malay name. Let me just.
You mean Sungai Buloh?
Yes, thank you so much. Oh my God, you're so good. Yes, I'm trying to pronounce the name. Yes, that's the one. Have you been there? It's a huge reserve. You can go hiking, cycling, but there's a lot of mosquitoes there. Okay, that whole reserve park is actually full of mangrove trees, and it's famous for tourists to actually go there to take a break from the city of island. So Singapore, everywhere is just buildings. So over there is a whole new environment. They can actually rest and relax. And yes, there's the whole plantation is actually mangrove trees only. So you can see all the roots that just keep sticking out. Now, the only thing about mangrove tree is that they have very low oxygen intake. So how the whole tree helps to taking more oxygen at night is that their roots will stick out of the water so that they can actually take in more air, more oxygen during the night, right? But in the day, of course, the trees, they do photosynthesis, but it's just that their roots are in nature, they actually born, basically they grow in such a way it's sticking out so that they can get in more air as well during the day, yeah? So the roots are really very clustered. Okay, if you actually have been there, that's a very nice place. I've actually not, I don't really like outdoor and sweating. In Singapore, it's so hot. So going to East Coast Park already makes me sweat a lot. So I've never been there, but I heard that place has been renovated and revamped into even more elaborate, bigger, if I'm not wrong. And they make it very tourist-like now. So it's very nice. So yeah, stem, next one. You have your stem found above the ground. We eat them all the time. I don't know if you like it. I do like fried onions with eggs. If your mom actually cook. No, doesn't. Onions is actually comes from stem. They are actually underground stem. Okay, so one example. Stop chatting, yeah. Okay, the other one, leaves. 3 types of leaves. So you got oval shape, heart shape, and palm shape. Okay, so there are actually more patterns of it, but the common ones that are being tested is your oval shape, heart shape, and your palm shape. So you can actually see. And also, I think after that, you will also learn about the different the veins pattern, the leaf veins pattern. Okay, so don't confuse yourself, but at this point, you are good with oval shape, heart shape. My daughter loves heart shape a lot. So sometimes you pick up this leaf. Now that it's winter, it starts falling, everything is gone. Wait till it starts blooming again. The leaves will be a lot bigger. The leaves here are basically a lot bigger compared to Singapore. So yeah,